but ultimately it don't really matter. So 35-14, 342 yards of offense through 213. He slowly grinded the game out against me. 137 rushing yards to 72, 205 to 141, 21 first downs to 11, two turnovers by us, one for him. Possession, though, 25-34 to 10-26. We hardly had the ball. It's hard to score when he doesn't really turn over the ball that much, and he controls the possession. We seem to be everything we were doing again, and we're put him in position where he had to make plays to keep drives going, keep the game going, and I give him credit. He did it. He did whatever he could to keep the game going. Um, his Ricky Scully, a quarterback, 15 for 19, 78% completion, 205 with a touchdown. Not a ton of passing yards, but he plays the game where he doesn't need to. Doesn't need to throw a lot of passing yards to win. Um, and his timely passing, great catches, um, and put himself in a position to win. Fargas, on the other hand, 7 for 16, two interceptions, 147, definitely below his standards. Not much I can say on that. Rushing, Durando, 16 for 75, three touchdowns. He was a beast, and we had a hard time stopping him. We did get a little bit of running game going. Gibbs for 7 for 45 for a touchdown. I wish I had done more. I probably should have done more, but it's neither here or there. Our game plan was to put Deontay Scott on Lambert because Lambert's beat me in before. Try to keep an eye on Kittle because Kittle's burned me before. But of course, when you do that, I have Arnold line up against Ayuk, and there was a size advantage. And when you could try to move people around to get a better matchup, but then he's too smart for that. He's just gonna pass it to find the mismatch and then take advantage of it. So he just had buckled on and held on for the ride. Ayuk got a bunch of big catches, but his game plan looked like he was trying to shut Jameson Williams down, and Jameson Williams never even caught a pass. So it is what it is. 11 tackles for Ross, 8 for Phillips. Sherman, 1.5. Larson, half a sack. Pick for Deion Samuels and Fred Warner. Fred Warner's been a thorn on everybody's side. So it is what it is on that game. The Dolphins game, 31-17. We needed to win this game. This was a very pivotal game for us going forward. The game right before the bye week against an opponent that we have a strong possibility of winning. The funny thing is he pretty much had more yards, more first downs. He won a lot of statistical categories. The difference was he turned over the ball a lot. 370 yards gained, 110 to 48 on rushing, 260 to 267 on passing yards, about even, 20 to 17 on first downs. Like I said, the turnovers were key. 4 turnovers. Gave us a little bit of time possession win, but not anything to write home about. This game was slow to get offensive going, but then second quarter was the quarter we shine, where we got a bunch of interceptions, led to some scoring drives, and the second half was pretty much a back and forth. We held on and won. Fargas, 16 for 25, 272, 3 touchdowns. Duke, 19 for 31, 279, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Rushing, I was a little surprised Achane wasn't getting a lot of carries. I was going to Jalen Wright more, and Jalen Wright was tearing me up a little bit. So I do. You have to watch this team. Watch the speed. The speed's all over the place when you play the Dolphins, and you have to not get burned as much. He did burn me for a 25-yard run, but most everything else I held in check. Um, Gibbs, 1 week he's there, 1 week he's not. 11 for 19. Definitely need him to do more. We could not run the ball effectively against the Dolphins. We could pass though, and we definitely got Jamison Williams going. Um, and Reported with 5 catches, St. Brown with 3. His rookie receiver Mitch and Zerma um, definitely was a matchup problem, and he was able to hit him a lot of times on passes. Uh, but I'm happy we shut down Tyreek Hill and Waddle. Came up with some timely picks that needed to be done and came up with the victory. Jamal Adams, 12 tackles. Whenever you have a safety leading your team in tackles, you at least know the ball is getting pushed that far. Bruce Noel's a beast. Everywhere. He flies to the ball everywhere. 2 tackles for a loss on him. Phillips with a sack. Marquise Thomas with a sack. Shaq Thomas with a sack. Hutchinson with a sack. And Jay Childs. Terry Arnold. Outstanding game. He's been really one of the key strong points for our defense this year. Really coming on strong. Michael Phillips, 3rd-round rookie, who has dominated my linebacker core this year. I'm really impressed with this guy, and this guy may be a candidate to replace Bruce Ross in the next man cycle. Yes, Bruce Ross maybe finally trading in his gear for OMFL jacket coming up. So stay tuned for that. Brian Branch with a pick. So, and that leaves us to 7-5. Now, 7-5 will put us in a prime position in a lot of divisions, but in this year, it is not. We've got some work to cut out coming out for us. We are currently in 2nd place in our NFC North, behind the 8-5 Minnesota Vikings. We're ahead of the 7-6 Bears, and the Green Bay Packers are 6-6. This division has grown in talent, seemingly overnight from the last bad cycle. This used to be the division that you'd be lucky if you had a team that had a winning record. Now we got some people that it's a competitive division. This is one that you can be a good team and be 4th place in this division. It's going to be interesting to see how this division race finishes up. Big Hurt has the upper hand right now. Big Hurt has been beat twice, which are very key wins in the division race. We have to get a step on him. Right now, he owns the tiebreaker. We got some big games coming up that will decide this division race. We have a game against the Bears and the Packers coming up. In order for us to make the playoffs, which I believe we can, unlike some people have called us a pretender, we need to win those games. The game against the Bears coming up and the game against the Packers are crucial. We are sitting at the division record of 2-2. The Vikings are 4-2. We do have the Bears and Packers are both 2-3 in the division. The division race is not over yet, but we do need Big Hurt and the Vikings to trip up. We do need them to stumble, and we need to win all our games on the stretch. It's possible, but we do have some tough games coming up. So let's take a look at that. The rest of our schedule, we got the Panthers and the Jets. We got the Panthers tomorrow night at 8:30. Panthers are definitely Bird has built a great program there in Carolina. He struggled a little bit this year, but he's going to put up a fight. Cincyberg and the Jets are very good offensively. We're going to have to match the offensively against him and put us in position. Then we have to go to Chicago, New England, and Green Bay. Definitely a very difficult schedule coming up. We need to be 4-1 to clinch the playoffs, in my opinion. Probably need to be 5-0 the rest of the way to win the division, to get a chance. This race is going to be tight in the division race. After having struggling the first 3 games before Big Hurt, he has done exceptional well. He's got Nate and the Saints, Randy and the Colts, Cincyberg and the Jets, and Winky and the Eagles. Now, we got common opponents. We got the Jets coming up against both of us. That's going to be key. We have to beat the Jets, and we have to have the Jets beat him. That's one way for us to win the division. But we have to win the games in front of us and then put us in a position to try to win the division. We only play the games in front of us. After a slow start and a slow middle, Colin the Bears has figured out a lot of things. He's beaten the Jets this year already. He has Roger and the Texans, me and the Lions, Bird and the Panthers, and Massimo and the Dolphins. He's got a difficult schedule too. And he does have one thing that I don't have, and I wish I had, the 2-game wins against Big Hurt for the division. That could be very key. If he could win the rest of his 4 games and then put himself, Big Hurt stumbles, he could win the division because he owns the tiebreaker against them. So the NFC North is not over. It's got a long way to go. Even Priest started off red hot, 6 games in a row, and then dropped 6 straight. Now he has a lot of games that are winnable down the stretch. Kevin and the Bucks, Randy and Nicehunger and the Jags, Maniac and the Bills, Massimo and the Dolphins, and then me. If he could harness some kind of energy and go back to playing like he did in the beginning, even he is not out of the playoffs or the division. So this division race is for anybody right now. It's wide open. And it should be interesting to see what happens down the stretch. We're currently 6th in the NFC race for the playoffs. But there's a lot of games still left to go, and a lot of stuff to figure out. And it should be interesting down the stretch. All Madden is not as easy compared to All Pro last year. I mean, there's some changes we had to make to adjust to the new setting, and we've done well with it. But we have also had the difficult first place schedule that is to be expected by a division champion. Our losses have been to the Vikings twice, to the Cowboys, to the Bills, and the Niners, some of the best users in this season. So it's nothing to put as an excuse or to say that's the reason. Ultimately, it's our schedule, and we can only play the games that are in front of us. We really can't control anything else. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go out there and win and put ourselves in the best position to win the division, to make the playoffs at least. and put ourselves in position to make a run. We have the talent wise, we're capable of making the run, and there's no excuses. So buckle up, enjoy the ride, and enjoy the show.